right, I'm back. Good morning, world. Hope everybody's somewhat happy and healthy this morning. As happy and healthy as you can be with current conditions around the globe. And I got my heater on in here. It's toque season, official. It's pouring rain. The adventure dogs lay in here. They're absolutely relieved I'm home. I feel bad for her sometimes. Are their dogs, like when I leave, sometimes I leave for 3 weeks at a time. Sometimes 2, usually 2. And you got to wonder, because you can't really speak English to them and say, okay, I'll be back in 2 weeks, okay? I'm coming back, though. Like, I wonder if they wonder if you're ever coming back. Did Dad just desert me? Is he never coming back? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, she's stuck to me like Velcro as usual, laying under the desk here. Now, I'm going to start something off on a positive note, all right? Because we need as much positive we can get lately. It's easy to talk about the negative because it's everywhere, but there's still lots of positive. So I got a whole bunch of new emails fresh out of the frying pan for today too, all right, you guys? But anyway, I can't stress enough to everyone who may listen to my words about how healthy it is to just get into the real frickin' world, even for an hour. Whatever you can squeeze out, it's good for you. It's very, very healthy for your body and especially your mind. All right? And I'll say this right now, I'm not being a dick. I feel so sorry for all the people who live inner city, especially today. That's, as far as I'm concerned, that is a sentence. That's sentence. But anyway, you got to get out in the real world, man. You got to do it. You have to do it. It creates so much good. And I know a lot of people are going to go, I'm not into tents, I'm not into camping, I'm not into horses, I'm not into hunting, I'm not into fishing. Who cares? You don't have to be. Just go walk in a park, walk along a lake, a creek, especially a creek. Sit there, watch the water, watch what you can see that's alive. Just take note of what's going on around you. Just take it all in. There's lots going on, really, when it looks kind of boring, but it's not. There's usually lots going on. But it's very healthy. It exercises a part of your mind that I'm quite sure does not get exercised in the inner city, especially, right? Go to the ocean. If you get a chance to go fishing, I was thinking about this when I was last evening, I think. I was kind of daydreaming about the negative, how easy it is to talk negative smack these days. It's everywhere. And how to create positive. And talk about something positive that's good, And as an example, fishing, just the simple act of fishing is so healthy, believe it or not. Hear me out. I don't know how many people I've been in the presence of when they caught their first fish. And to date, I don't know how many. But I have never in my life heard someone who just hooked into the first fish saying, oh my God, I hate this. Never once. It's 100% of the time been an exciting, positive experience. And you don't have to kill the fish, you can let it go. I'm just saying, give it a go. Go get a cheap frickin' fishing rod from Walmart or wherever you go and get them. And just go sit on the edge of a pond or a lake or a stream or whatever, or a pier if you've got one in the ocean, and just go give it a go. Because while you're doing it, it makes you focus on real shit. Real. Fishing is very real in the real world. The smells, the sights, the sounds, the water, the life around you. Your senses are the senses that you don't normally use daily are on alert. Healthy ones that need to be exercised. You know what I mean? There you go. There's my little blurb. Somebody goes fishing? Just do it. Get out of your comfort zone and say, hey, why don't you take me fishing? I want to give it a go and see what's up. See if it ignites something in me. See how I feel at the end of the day when I go home. More importantly, is what I'm getting at, all right? That's what I'm getting at. If you can, and you don't normally, I can't stress enough how important I know it is for you to reconnect with your other senses in the real world, which is the outside outdoors. Please, please do it. Okay? There you go. I've never in my life ever seen anybody have a fishing rod in their hands. They got a bite. Whoa! Oh my God, a fish bit the hook. I hate this. Said nobody ever. Said nobody ever. Now, moving along, who do we got? We got a lot going on. Got a lot going on in the world, especially today. Now, all right, first email is from superhero to me, Cujo, our ex-military law enforcement A-type kick-ass dude, titled Possible Ghost Seen in Pacific Palisades Burn Area. Whoa. You know, I just saw a mugshot of a guy, allegedly, he's the guy responsible for that fire, lighting it, allegedly. Just yesterday I seen that. Hey, Steve, Cujo here. I wasn't going to share this story because, number one, I didn't think anybody would believe me. And secondly, I don't think I'm sure what I saw. I know it was not a Sasquatch. I watched one of your latest videos and you were saying how important it is to share things that happen to you that are not normal when you see things, even if you don't think it's important. That's the reason I'm sharing this. Right on, man. I'm all over it like a fat kid on a Smartie. Let her rip. So I picked up this security detail out in Pacific Palisades in the area that was burnt to the ground last year. I'm keeping an eye on this very high-end mall because some of the stores still have merchandise in them. It's a place where the rich people shop, like Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. It's really sad just being here. Here you have this high-end luxury mall with very high-end stores where rich people go to shop and everything around is just gone. Extremely old homes, some of them 100 years old, are just gone. There's nothing there anymore except for freestanding chimneys in some spots, and foundations or block basements. When I first started working here a couple months ago, I had a hard time reconciling that somebody made the choice to save this mall or save the homes right across the street, and the choice they made was to save the mall. It's probably more complicated than that, and who knows, maybe the homes were just too far gone, but it's just sad. Damn. Anyways, on to the story. I'm posted on the back side of this mall. And on the left side of the street is the mall and a couple of trailers for the workers that are repairing what was damaged there. On the right side of the street are burnt out properties, just like I said, foundations, block basement walls, and what's left of any type of block wall that was on a property or chimneys. I posted a couple of pictures with the view of where I am right now, which is where I was when this happened, and also a picture of the lots across the street that the fire took. 2 weeks ago, I was working in the exact same spot. I've been posted at this spot for a couple of months. I work night shift, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., and it gets very, very quiet here in the Pacific Palisades. The only noise is from Sunset Boulevard and the cars going by, but there's no neighborhood noise at all. For the past couple of months, from time to time, early morning hours, I've been hearing what sounds like a gate open and close. I didn't really think much of it. The wildlife that was in the hills in the burnt area has come down into the city looking for food, and I've seen a lot of coyotes and wild dogs in the area. Those wild dogs, man, I'm more nervous about them than a lot of predators. They are bad asses. Wild dogs are bad. Bad, especially with children. I thought maybe that had something to do with it, or possibly someone may be snooping around seeing if they can get anything valuable out of the burned areas. But 2 weeks ago, I saw something that made me think a little differently. I was sitting in my truck, probably had just got done listening to one of your podcasts, and I was looking up the street, and I saw a white shape of a person that I could partially see through walk across the road from the mall side to the burned out houses side. It was roughly the shape of a person, and I could see legs moving and an arm swinging, but it was very fast. The legs were moving as if somebody was walking at a slow pace, but it moved way too quickly for that. If you look at the pictures I sent you, it came out of the mall area between the two white trailers, crossed left to right, and went up the embankment towards the burned out houses. The time it took to get from the mall to out of view up the embankment was about 2 seconds. Holy shit. It just didn't fit how fast the legs were moving. After it was out of sight, I was just sitting there thinking to myself that I just saw a ghost, and then I heard the gate open and close. I haven't said anything to any of my coworkers about this because I do not want to be known as that guy. I don't really know any of them, and I don't work with them. We're all in separate areas, so I may see them at the start and the end of my 12-hour shift. I have a feeling that that's why I got put back here, because nobody wants to work back here. I'm usually on duty with 3 or 4 other guys on the graveyard shift out here, and the area where I'm parked has the best Wi-Fi reception, but nobody volunteers to work out here. Everybody else wants to work the front gate or the Sunset Boulevard post. I did a little research and found out 12 lives were lost in the Palisades fire last year. 3 of those lives were lost within a half a mile of where I saw what I saw. And I'm still not even sure what it was. Maybe I was tired, my mind was playing tricks on me. I've seen descriptions of videos about light beings, and it kind of resembled that, but not as sharp. But it was the size and general shape of a person with no detail, white in color, partially see-through, and I could see the legs and arms moving. Too slow for the speed it moved. Personally, I think it was a ghost. They keep putting me out here. If I see anything else, you'll be the first to know. Cujo. And P.S. This is the first time I've ever seen anything like this, but I have had dreams where I've spoken to my deceased relatives that proved to be real. Whoa. And I also had an experience in my home once involving a poltergeist that was probably my wife's deceased father, who tossed a full jar of peanut butter out of our pantry and would walk around loudly upstairs. Oh, creepy. No thanks. I'm not into that shizzle. I've had an experience with a ghost once in my life that I'm sure of. And I'm not really into it, but there's a view. There's a view of Cooge in his work vehicle, I'm imagining. It's one photo. And the second photo here. Man, that's creepy. Sadness, isn't it? Fires are nasty. You know, Cooge, one question I got, unrelated, sort of related, but, you know, with all the shit going on today, especially in society, especially inner city shit, even apparently here, you're seeing lots of videos of what I would describe as uneducated, inbred pieces of living shit going into, stores with shopping carts and loading them up or loading up bags and just walking right out the doors and stealing everything. Which I don't understand it myself. Who started it? How they get away with it? Why security is told apparently to not touch them. Leave them alone. Why do you even have security at the door? You know what I mean? But I'm curious to know, what are you guys instructed to do? Like, I get it, you're sitting there watching this shit, expensive mall, but what, I mean, from especially in California, what are you supposed to do if you saw that? You got somebody coming out of there with tens of thousands of dollars of shit or whatever they're doing. What are you allowed to do to them? Can you take them down? Can you pull your piece on them, or what are you allowed to do? You know what I mean? Kind of confusing for me to wonder what's up when I see what's going down. I saw a video the other day. It was titled "Canadians Have Had Enough." There's somewhere in Alberta, I think. There's a guy, Canadian dude, and he's in a store, and somebody's videotaping this shit, and there's 2 or 3 of these people. I believe maybe it's even in a liquor store, and they're loading up their shopping bags and trying to walk out of there. And this guy's like, "No, not going to happen." And you could tell the guy probably played hockey. He just grabbed these inbred, uneducated, living pieces of shit and started dummying them. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, I love every second of this. Don't stop. You know what I mean? Some people are yelling at him, "Just let them go, just let them go." And he's like, yeah, right. Right? That's what I'm going to do. Not a doubt about it. In my community, I don't give a shit where I am. This is my frickin' community, man. You're not going to do that shit. You're not going to do it. I don't give a shit what your little pussy security door people have been instructed not to do. If I'm there and this is going down, they're not going to do it again. I'll guarantee you they're not going to do it again, and I'm going to make sure I got them until the police get there once for whatever's left of them. Right? Right? I'm done with the frickin' lack of common sense in society, man. Done with it. Anyway, I'm sure if you've seen this thing once and you keep hearing that gate open, now you're more alert not more, I'm sure you're as alert as you can be, but I mean, now you're tuning into something odd going on that you're not normally watching for. You're probably going to see this again. Don't you think? Probably, I'm guessing. But yeah, appreciate the email, man. Keep us posted. Throw us back some few words on exactly what you are allowed to do currently, where you are, if some uneducated, inbred pieces of shit start looting. What are you allowed to do? And if you can't say it publicly, let me know privately. All right? I'm all over it. Appreciate you, man. Be safe out there. Glad, super stoked, and glad you're still here. Now, next, primary reporter for Portland riots saw a Sabe. Steve, ditto to what everyone else says about your presence. All right, well, I think that might be good. Kidding. Appreciate it, man. One of the primary reporters / videographers for the Portland riots is Matt Tardio. Speak the Truth YouTube. And he said he saw a Sabe when he was a kid. The next day, today, he took a break from the mayhem after the pause inspired by Trump's dialogue on imposing the Insurrection Act. Phew. At any rate, he set up on the side of a lake in the same fashion you often use for backgrounds. Matt's got to be a member of the round table. It'd be great to hear his story. Well, since I'm here, I started watching your hunting videos shortly before the Sabe subject was started. I've been glued to other members' stories since. Due to family reasons, I took sanctuary in the northern New Jersey woods for about 30 years. Hard to believe, but our state has some remarkable woods. I heard there's some monster bears there. I know that. At any rate, maybe 10 years ago, I headed off a fire trail heading towards the ridge that parallels Holland Mountain Road. It's a long, often vertical road which must rise 1,000 feet. It puts you on the elevation of our ski areas. I was about 2/3 the way up, so I start down the trail and ran into a dead animal smell. No other smells, just rotting flesh. I've been aware of Sabe since the 60s, when my grandmother showed me the Life magazine with the Paddy article. I took note, but Bigfoot was the last thing on my mind. So I get to where it opens up. There's a ridge on my left, no leaves. For the only time in my life, I felt someone was watching me. I stopped a few times to scan the ridge. When I got to where I wanted to scout, I walked around and remember standing under some logs leaned up against a tree like a teepee. I thought Boy Scouts or something. I wasn't comfortable that day and I wrapped it up early. I wish I could remember if the smell was there when I left. I would like to know if any locals have had similar experiences off Holland Mountain Road in New Jersey. Chime in, you guys. Email me or throw it down in the comment section below. Second story. I was muzzleloader hunting off Prospect Point Road in Jefferson Township in a light dusting of snow. Just right for recent tracks. And this goes back 20 years or so. There is a canine track which was the width of my boot, size 12. I should have taken notice if there was a trail. I did take a slide of my boot next to the track, which I still have. No kidding about the size of Jersey bears. I had one with small ears start up my tree. Luckily, he's spooked when I moved for my pack. God bless you, Sarah, Ruby, and the critters. Share my name, Dave Party. Dave, appreciate you, man. I want to see that photo. And I can tell you with confidence, I'll be able to tell if it was a wolf or not, all right? I've had a lot of wolves in my hands. I think I got some pictures I could show you, actually. I took a picture of a wolf print the other day. There's a wolf trying to fish for those fish I filmed underwater my last trip. There's a wolf crisp in the mud right beside the water, facing the fish. I think he was getting ready. I think I have a photo, because I have a bunch of photos, various ones of wolf prints beside my felt-lined Sorel snow boots. And it's just as big as the end of my boot. And that's your typical wolf, right? Man, just give me 1 second here. I think I may have that picture here. Oh, come on, really? Sorry, you guys. Well, here's one print. There's one in my hand. There you go. That is a wolf. Paw in my hand. I'm not a huge guy, but I'm not a small guy. Pretty big, right? They have big feet. And for anybody who doesn't know, a wolf's front paws are bigger than their back paws. So a lot of times people see prints and think, oh, it's a big one and a small one. There's two of them. Nope. It was one. It was one. And there's actually... This is one of the, believe it or not, that's one of the largest wolves I ever caught right there. It's either the largest or the second largest I ever got. They can be big animals, right? Yeah, send me a picture of that footprint, if you would. And I'll have a look-see of what I feel it may be. What else do I got here? I think that'll do. There's my shit in here. I got lots of footprints, that's for sure. A lot of footprint photos in my phone album. A lot. A lot of those. Anybody know what that's from? Anyone? I wonder, right? Now, moving along. Appreciate that email, my man. This next email is titled, Secondhand Sabe Stories Plus Mount Hood Cougar Stalk and Mount Hood Possible Sabe Warning. Steve, you read my first email about my personal experience with the Sabe people, as we have come to call them. Thank you. This second email includes some additional personal experiences and some second-hand accounts that come from very trustworthy sources. Here we go. I'll have to remain anonymous for this email because one of the stories involves illicit activity on my part. I'll also share two stories that were told to me in confidence about the Sabe people. The first and most remarkable story that I would like to share with you comes from a cousin of mine in Appalachia. Appalachia? I've heard it pronounced Appalachia. Appalachia. She lives near the Grayson Highlands State Park in Virginia. And that's all I will share. She's a real mountain woman. Feeds raccoons. Has a half bobcat cat. No way. Anyways, a real badass. But we were sitting around telling stories, and she had an incredible Sabe story. She had heard about some place where apparently strange things happen, etc. She and her son, adult son at this point, went to check it out one night. They both saw a portal. In her words, she said it looked like a vortex, and she saw stars in the opening of the vortex. Then she said they saw black, hairy figures. When they floored the car to get out of there, something was holding the car back for a second or two before they were able to break free and escape. She only told me this story after I shared some of my own encounters. Just relaying what she told me. Sounds strange, but I believe her. She's a salt-of-the-earth woman. That actually kind of makes sense for where I'm going with my puzzle. What she reported. This story is mine from Mount Hood, Oregon. Sorry, I heard some weird noises. I guess it's rain. This story is mine from Mount Hood, Oregon. I lived in Government Camp, Oregon for 2 years in my early 20s. And in the summer, I used to hike between Timberline Lodge to Government Camp just to get out. There's this trail we called the Alpine Trail or something. It was an established trail going from Timberline Lodge back to town. We used to ski down it back to town in the winter from the lodge. Any local knows it. One day in the summer, I decided to explore a power line that branched off from top of the Alpine Trail. I was walking down the power line, and it started to get really thick with young evergreen trees and shrubs after about a half a mile. I got to a big thicket of some deciduous shrubs that were too thick to pass through. As I was looking around, trying to negotiate a passage through, I heard a growl. It was a low accompanied by the branches shaking like crazy in that shrubbery. I didn't feel terror, just a notion of, I better go now. And that is exactly what I did. I turned around and went back the other way. So back then, I hadn't started to take sawbays seriously, and I just thought maybe it was an elk. P.S. The sound it made reminds me of the low growl that house cats make when they are angry, but much lower and louder. Yeah, I heard that a few days ago. Third story. Not a sawbay story, but might be interesting. Cougars. Okay, Steve, so this story is why I have to remain anonymous in this email. I was still living up on Mount Hood. I'd grown some nice weed plants in my closet and wanted to move them outdoors. I'd scouted out a spot and had stashed some supplies there. Soil, fertilizer, and water. It was about 100 meters from a hiking trail, but through dense Pacific Northwestern bush. Like you have in Vancouver Island, Steve. So there's no way anybody was going to just see it. I wanted to wait until the wee hours of the morning to bring my weed plants out, so I waited until it was about 2 a.m. My house is on the forest edge and about a mile away from my planting spot. I went out with my 3 plants in my backpack and one of those old U.S. Army flashlights that was L-shaped and had the red lens for low light. I knew the trail well and was able to make it to my spot without an issue. I heard some twigs snapping about halfway up the trail and brushed it off as deer. I planted my plants, was packing all the soil around the root balls, and got this sensation that I've never felt before or since. The best way that I could describe it is that feeling that you get when you know somebody's sizing you up at the bar, but times 100. All the hair on my body stood up. I knew I had to be mean. I screamed and thrashed at the bushes around me as violently and loudly as possible. Then I ran. I booked it probably as fast as my feet have ever carried me back to my house. The rest of the night I couldn't sleep a wink. I waited for the light to come up, and as soon as it got light out, I came back out. I hiked back up the trail and clearly saw 2 sets of cat tracks. One big, about as big as a full-grown German Shepherd or slightly larger. The other set of tracks were much smaller, about the size of a coyote track. I thought, holy, I just got stalked by an effing cougar. I was almost kiddie meal. So take from what you will. Steve, I know you have 100 times more outdoor experience than I, but the sixth sense is a real deal. I think God gives it to us. The only other relevant story I would like to share with the community is this. I was working in New Mexico as a construction laborer. I used to drive around to these different places with a coworker in a company vehicle, sometimes for hours around the Albuquerque surrounding area, so we used to bullshit a lot. I was known as Government Gunner in my company because I was always talking about government cover-ups and how they were effing us all over and the like. And I also liked guns and encouraged everybody to get more. So here's the story. I was driving around with, let's call him G, and I was going off on one of my anti-government rants, and G says to me mockingly, "Huh, I bet you believe in Bigfoot too, huh?" So I say, "Yeah, too many people have seen it. It's got to be a thing," or something like that. He then drives silently for about 10 seconds and stares into space. Then he just says, "I saw one." And I say, "F yeah, man, what happened?" He says that he was out camping with his family in northern New Mexico at a lake. He was out at night and running around with one of those old 90s floodlight flashlights. He ran over a bank, and it was just standing there. He said it was probably 8 feet tall, medium brown, human face covered in hair. Human face. He said once he had it on the spotlight, he froze. The sawbay picked up a fish and walked off. Anyway, just a few more stories and a sea of others. Thanks, Steve, for allowing us to share our stories with you and the larger community. It can be hard when you have these experiences and nobody to relate to. God bless you guys, and those on the fence, we all know you're holding out, and you'll feel better getting it off your chest. You're not weird for having something like this happen to you. We all benefit from sharing our experiences. Smart words, man. Kind words. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you big time for emailing us into us. And it's true. I can guarantee you there's a lot of people on the fence, because even I was on the fence about sharing with you guys what I saw the other evening. Right? It's odd when it goes down. Like, I didn't feel like I was being watched at all. I didn't feel any terror. I do know for a fact, well, I can say this for me, when you think you see something, your very first initial thought is always correct. Always. And I use that as a rule, especially for me hunting, especially guiding. You know, like as an example, if I'm guiding an elk hunt, an elk has to have 6 points on at least one antler. And sometimes way in the distance, I'll be counting. It's really far away. I'm counting. And right away, I think I saw that 6 point. If I think I saw it, it's probably there. But usually, actually, when it comes to counting points, I go by my rule. If I think I saw it 3 times, I saw it. I guess that's not really a good comparison. I'm just saying your initial thought for me, your very first split-second initial thought of anything in life is always true. It's when you second guess yourself or try to come up with an excuse for what you may have seen or heard. That's when you get it wrong. Every single time. Trust me, I've done it a million times. Your very first initial thought is always correct. Anyways, my initial thought the other evening was, whoa, what's that guy doing? My initial thought was somebody didn't want me to see him. That was my initial thought. What's that guy doing? Like, it was so fast. And then I realized, well, wait a minute. Like, everything's so quick. You're concentrating on, you want to get up there, and I want to see those elk, get my call up there and see if I can get a bull that might be in the timber above those cows. I'm hurrying. I got to park my truck. I got to get out of my truck. I got to hustle up there. I got to find my elk bugle. And I'm just trying to get my truck backed up real quick and following the trailer and glancing out the window. And then, whoop, like straight across. 100% was not an elk, was not a moose, was not a bear, and was not a rounded human head with a hat on of any kind or a hood at all. It was just kind of messy looking. The same color as pencil lead color, and I could still see the green color in the grass. It was grass, horizon grass, and this dude crossed back behind that grass. So I could clearly see the green against that pencil lead gray, all gray. I didn't see enough to strike me as huge, you know what I mean? It's just, whoa, what's that guy? As I'm backing up. Anyway, rambling. But yeah, I was definitely hesitant, especially after just sharing that I had heard a growl. What else? Something else. There's always something. I can't stress enough that everything that goes bump in the night is a Bigfoot to me. I'm not that person. It's just not. You know, I'm not the red circle on the photograph thing guy at all. I'm just not. But I was definitely on the fence about even saying anything. You know what I mean? Weird, isn't it? Isn't it weird? Especially me. For all this time being on here, why would I be hesitant of sharing that shit, that little experience with you guys on here? I wonder why. You know, even Sarah, I told her, I didn't even tell her right away. It's like, as soon as I got home, I go, pretty sure I saw a Sasquatch the other night. She's like, what, really? And I go, yeah. I told her what happened. She's like, oh, wow. But what more can you say? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you benefit in any way even sharing that when even somebody close to you says, oh, well, crazy. And you just leave it as that. What else can you say? Not much. But you're right. To all the people sitting on the fence, it does feel better. At least I don't have the conflict in my head of whether or not I should have shared it anymore. It's shared, done it. It doesn't even bother me. You know what I mean? I guess I'm rambling a bit here, aren't I? Anyway, if you're a fence sitter, jump off. Get it shared. You may think it's insignificant, just like I did, but it might help somebody, all right? And that's why we're here, to help each other and be a community. So spit it out. What do we got here? Mark this as red. 9/11. Steve, always use my name. I've been using it for 70 years. Ask me if I care what people say about me. Do you care what people say about you? F 'em. Hello from Raymond Paulin again. Great North Woods of Berlin, New Hampshire. Regarding who did it, the 9/11 crime, This was a controlled demolition. They used a directed energy weapon, along with an inside team that prepped the steel structure using thermite. Thermite melts steel like butter. Viewing some of the videos, you could watch with your own eyes massive blocks of concrete falling. As the concrete is falling, you can see the concrete turn into dust before it reaches the ground. As for the architects of the crime, it was George Herbert Bush, George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, and Donald Rumsfeld. They got caught. They were executed. Huh? When you hear President Trump say, "We've got it all," that's exactly what he means. Did you ever see the video of President Carter's funeral, where you see Hillary, Barack, Bush, Cheney, Russell, and a few more receive an envelope prior to the commencement at the funeral? That envelope contained a note signed by George Bush Sr. It stated, "They know everything." George Bush Sr. confessed to everything. Those dirtbags went to hell. The building number 7 that crumbled on the same day, nowhere near the Twin Towers. That too is a controlled demolition without a doubt. Why? Because that building housed all the records regarding the $3.4 trillion that went missing. Mysteriously, Rumsfeld, being the kingpin, made the money disappear and had to hide the evidence. And it was all in building number 7. For your information, my friend. Thank you, Steve. All right. You know, there's a lot of shit that went on. There's a bit of a bold statement saying they were all arrested. Because I think I saw Bush Jr. on TV just a little while ago. But anyway, I shared your email, my man. Appreciate it. I think that alarm's been sounded and rang quite a few times. Obviously, it was an inside job, 100%. We all know that. It's just another one of those in your face, doesn't matter. I know there's a lot of firefighters who were allegedly assassinated that started screaming alarm bells. That's not really overly reported on and thrown in the face, is it? As there's a lot of things going on currently in mainstream. Sad state of affairs. It's very, very frustrating. It's very frustrating for me and a lot of other people too. You know, especially with this community that we've created. You know, I try not to go off on various tangents. There's a lot of people that dedicate every single day to doing it, and they do it all the time. I listen to a fair amount of them, not too many, but I listen. Keep tabs on what's going on so that I can make any kind of decision I need to make for myself, my family, my home. Make the right decisions or moves, but there's a lot of crazy ass shit going on, that's for sure. It's very, very confusing, you know what I mean? It's so confusing. It's like, well, why are we put here? Why? The whys are insane, especially for me. I'll be sitting on a rock in the middle of frickin' nowhere with an epic view and just wondering to myself, why am I here? You know? Have you guys got to that stage in life yet when you're sitting there just wondering why you're here? Why was I given this lifetime? Why was I sent here to experience all this? Why is everybody screwing up so bad? How come everybody isn't celebrating all the good shit and just being happy and helping each other? It's really weird. Why? You know? It's very confusing, especially today. But that's why I keep on trying to make sure that I do what I love to do as much as I can. I make that priority over a lot of stuff I probably shouldn't, but I'm running out of time. We're all running out of time, and I don't want to waste it, you know? Same with Sarah. I encourage Sarah to do every single thing that she loves to do as much as she can. I encourage it all the time. But then you get caught up in all the horse shit, and then you have to do other things to make sure you can somewhat maintain some sort of freedom along the way and be healthy and not be controlled and on and on and on. I'm babbling. How long have I been here? I probably get my butt going. I gotta go pick up my pickup truck, which they couldn't fix before I left. And I'm almost scared. I'm almost scared to go pick the damn thing up because I'm almost scared they're gonna go, well, it's not ready yet. It's been a month. Oh. Anyway, what do we got going on? 1 second. Okay, here's another one. Fresh out of the pan. This is titled, Surrounded, Bigfoot is an Asshole. Hey, Steve. I'm so glad you're still doing what you do. You know we all appreciate it. I appreciate all you too, my man. It's too easy. I just watched your short video with Big Boy chuffing at you. And I wanted to let you know that is exactly what the big effing asshole sounded like that surrounded me and did that at 30 to 40 feet in the pitch dark for hours. If you remember the story, it's below. When I heard that chuff/yell, whatever it is, I started chuckling. Finally, to hear exactly what they sounded like again. I guess it's when they're annoyed and pissed at you for messing up their hunt or just wanting to jack with you for fun. That final response was what they were doing to me. But it was pitch black and they were real close. Kind of like pissing on your shoes close. They never made a sound of movement in the dead leaves, just that chopping noise, deep and growly. Keep at it, my friend. Wow, no shit. That's kind of creepy. That must have made the hairs stand up on your neck then to hear that sound. Exact same sound, eh? Wow. Good to know. Interesting to know. Especially for me. Appreciate that, man. I don't know what... That would have been really, really shitty. Having that sound all around you within spitting distance of you in the pitch black. You gotta be kidding me. Listen to this. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine having multiple of those in the dark, spitting distance from you, and not hearing anything else. That would really, 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 really suck. Crazy, man. I was curious to know if somebody would have heard exactly what I heard. Or are they going to chime in? What came through spirit about Bigfoot? Tyler's email. Hi, Steve. I wanted to share something that came through recently about Bigfoot. An understanding that feels clearer than anything I've known before. You know from my earlier messages and photo that I've always been drawn to the mystery. But lately I began connecting directly with what I'd call my higher self or spirit guidance. The information that came through about Bigfoot surprised me. And yet it fits perfectly with what so many have experienced, including you. From what I was shown, Bigfoot isn't just another undiscovered creature of the forest. It's a being between worlds, capable of shifting its density and visibility depending on the vibrational environment around it. That's why tracks appear and vanish. Why objects like your knife can disappear and then reappear exactly where they were, and why some people sometimes sense a presence or hear the pounding and roars without ever seeing a solid form. These beings seem to move in and out of our reality through energetic thresholds, places where the boundary between the physical and the spiritual thins, often deep in wilderness, untouched by noise or interference. The orb Sarah saw behind you may have been part of that same energy field, a visible trace of the transition point. What Spirit made clear is that Bigfoot is not here to harm. It's aware of us, perhaps even curious about how humans are beginning to awaken to higher perception. For people like you who live close to the land, notice details, and carry both respect and curiosity, these encounters happen because your awareness is open enough to register what most others can't. You don't have to take my word for it. I'd simply invite you to observe future experiences with this possibility in mind. That Bigfoot may not be hiding from us so much as existing alongside us, stepping through the veil when the resonance matches. The evidence we keep calling inconclusive might actually be proof that we're dealing with something interdimensional rather than purely biological. Thank you for continuing to document these mysteries with integrity. What you're doing is helping bridge two worlds. The physical one we know and the unseen one that's just starting to reveal itself. With respect and appreciation, Peggy. Appreciate the kind words, Peggy. Interesting, right? There's no denying it, or there shouldn't be any denying at this stage of the game, don't you think, you guys? I mean, you've seen where I go, and how many years I've been going to the places I go. If there is a full-time living tribe or family of anybody's, somebody I know or myself is going to find their bathroom, their bedroom, their secret trail to go get their water, their drink, whatever. It's going to be there, or remnants of it. Anyway, Babylon. And on that note, I was thinking the other day, I was thinking about things that I've done in my lifetime to get me where I'm at in life. And I think I made it pretty clear. I was basically a feral human being growing up. I didn't have any guidance whatsoever. Just none. None. We were basically a pain in the ass, and they couldn't wait to get us out of the way to carry on with their new lives, right? Especially their monster partners. But anyway, moving along. That made for some very, very, very rough, challenging moments in life that I probably shouldn't have survived many of them, but I did. And I had to learn survival on my own. And I had to learn what the right things and the wrong things were to do. And one of the things I did learn at an early age was what not to do by observing people. Okay? Follow me, where I'm going with this. Now, it's safe to say that there's quite a few of the so-called original big names in Bigfootery have passed on. Some are quite elderly now and haven't passed on, but one thing that they have shown us is that everything they were doing to obtain the answers, and I mean the answers, to what's going on specifically with these unacknowledged beings, didn't work. Okay? I can say that with confidence. It didn't work. So far, I believe 100% of the so-called bigger names in the Bigfootery world that have died, they died without the answers. Okay? So me being observant to what I should or shouldn't be doing or how I should do something, I'm watching this and I'm learning from people. I watch people and I learn from their actions and what they've done with their lives. And I see what's the right thing, the wrong thing, and might be real dumb things to do with your lifetime. But anyways, I'm just saying, think about it, just rational thinking. Just looking in that fish bowl and watching what went down. Okay, you get all these people with credentials, all these people, these big so-called names. They spent 30, 40, 50 years, their whole lifetime studying the Sasquatch phenomenon. A few of them claim to be experts. But one thing that we can probably all agree upon is the fact that they all died without the answers. Okay? So, if we're in class right now, then we know to not do what they did. Don't mimic what they did to find the answers, because it didn't work for them. See what I'm getting at? It didn't work. It's kind of like the trail camera thing. It didn't take me long to figure out that that's a waste of time. It didn't take me that very long at all, because I go by the rule of, you learn as you go. You go by... we go by success and failure and lessons. Hopefully a lot of us do. A lot of us don't. But you should. You know what I mean? Meaning, you go down that trail and you ran your face into that brick wall. Well, you stop doing that. You do something different. But unfortunately, a lot of people keep smashing into the brick wall. But getting to this topic, I mean, let's face it. Try not to mimic what the other people have done for years and years and years, and it didn't work. They died without the answers. They're dying without the answers. They've gone their whole life without the answers, so you have to do it differently. Okay? You have to look in directions that they refuse to look in, possibly. What else do you got left to do? You know what I'm saying? I know I'm kind of rambling. It's like the trail camera thing. That's why I've taken shots at people. I don't do it out of being mean. I take shots at people to wake them up. Quit being stupid. Well, I know, there's a million trail cameras out there, and a bunch of other Bigfootery guys, they put trail cameras up, but I'm going to do it different. I'm going to put my trail cameras out different. I'm good at it. You're being so dumb. That's just one easy example of what I'm trying to get at. Learn from what everybody has done and watch what they've done and study what they've done to come up with the answers for this one particular topic and more in life, and realize it didn't work. They were doing the wrong thing. whatever they were doing for themselves to create the correct answers, they failed. Rest in peace, but you failed. You wasted many years doing the same thing, and you mimicked each other and went down the same paths, and you failed. You didn't come up with the answer. Didn't work. It didn't work what you were doing. Easily proven. Okay? So I guess that's my closing message today. Quit mimicking people that fail in life, all right? Don't mimic people that fail. If they were going towards the same goal you're attempting to go at, learn from them. They failed for you. They spent all those years doing it the wrong way for you, so you won't. Okay? Okay. There you go. Anyway, moving along. I guess I'm going to... if I could have a drum roll right now, we're going to go jump in Sarah's truck and possibly go get groceries. We got to go to the dump. Got to do a bunch of shit. I got to get hay. And we're going to just... I'm just going to... I don't even want a phone. I'm just going to show up at the mechanic's place and see if my truck's ready. Oh my God, I hope it is. If it isn't, I'm probably going to have a... I don't know, maybe I'll just fall down on the sidewalk, curl up and put my thumb in my mouth or something. I don't know. Anyway, appreciate everyone. Big time. I hope more people than not accept my advice to just go out and do something in the real world just for an hour, a couple hours. It's a reset. It's healthy. What you're supposed to be doing, all right? It's going to help your mind. Please do it. Please, please, please. Take somebody with you, all right? And you'll see the results. And then try to incorporate that into your weekly routine or even daily, whatever you got. And I'll stop babbling. Maybe I won't. One more quick mention. Did you know that Candace Owens came public that she has a dead switch? She's got a dead switch. I believe she's onto something with who actually killed Charlie Kirk. What's my gut screaming? Well, I've been watching everything for too long. I can put all the pieces together for myself quite easily when it comes to who's guilty in the geopolitical world today. These same people are causing a lot of grief for you and I, indirectly and directly. But I know a lot of people don't like Candace Owens. Oh well, I don't know her. But she seems to be a straight shooter. She's not backing down. She's brave. And apparently her and Tucker Carlson have been cautioned that they're on a hit list to be next. Interesting times, right? Interesting times. I also saw the other day, quick mention, I watched the video, I listened to the man speak, and there is numerous, what is it, IDF? Israeli Defense guys? Basically are coming forward saying they were told to stand down October 7th and allow that attack to come into that music festival and annihilate those innocent lives. And there's explanations why, and it all makes sense. Just in case you weren't aware, you might want to look into it. Don't shoot the messenger, otherwise you're a pussy. All right? Look into it yourself. It matters. It does matter. Okay? It matters to you. It matters to everyone. You just don't know it yet. But it does matter to know truth. Okay, there you go. Enough babbling. I'm out of here. See you tomorrow, I hope.